to everything is what made that work. I always love a big two. I don't really love a big three. The big three thing has never really worked. And you say, well, what happened in Miami? That wasn't really a big three. There was, when you think about it, Bosh was an ultimate professional. He took a back seat and he played a role in which, because he had such a high IQ and he was such a professional as an individual, his approach to everything is what made that work. I always love a big two. I don't really love a big three.
I love a big two. That's why when I go to IHOP, I get the 2 pancakes, the 2 eggs, 2 sausage, 2 bacon. Everybody love a big two. They don't need no big three. What do you need a big three for? All you need is a big two. Why are these people talking to Rich Paul about basketball? Why would you talk to that man about anything? This man, I don't even think played basketball, let alone he was selling basketball jerseys. He's a hustler. That's it. And this man has an IQ of -35, and you put him on this show with Pat McAfee, who's even more confused about everything that's going on with this guy. Unbelievable they would allow this man to come on the show and talk. But they did. And now, personally, I never liked I like a big two. I don't like a big three. Who the hell about what you like? He was just the ultimate professional. If you played basketball, Rich Paul, you would know that Chris Bosh was one of the anchors defensively. He's the one that had to alter his game the most because LeBron James is in his way. He was a 24, 25 point scorer, leading scorer over in Toronto. To leave that to come over to join Miami and play a role where he's not going to get that many shots. He's not going to get the ball where, he's comfortable. He's going to have to help out on the defensive end and exert himself banging with big centers down in the middle and get scraps. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. He was the guy who worked on his mid-range shot to change his game to appease Wade and LeBron. There were tons of lies told, good people. Tons of lies. And we're here to rectify that today. Oh, absolutely. There were a lot of lies told. So I want a lot of it rectified. Now you might be saying to yourself, what are these lies that was told? These media sports guys now are rewriting history. They're going on TV now and just lying. Complete lying. And it seems to be coming from the LeBron James side of the court. And it pisses me off more than anything because it's insulting. Absolutely. To say Chris Bosh wasn't a big three, some would argue he was the most valuable player on the team because you don't win without Bosh. If Bosh doesn't get that offensive rebound and not throw the ball out to LeBron bum-ass James to take the three and kick that ball to Ray Allen to take the three, in that split of a second, he knew to get that ball to Ray. That decision saved LeBron James' ass. That's not a big two. That's not the ultimate professional. That's the man making it happen. So we got to start thinking a lot clearer when we make our decisions and what we're putting in place here. Because once we start making decisions that alter the fate of what the world is, we got to start understanding. It was like Jordan had a big three in Chicago. Those guys were older. And let me clarify this for people such as Rich Paul, who is stupid. Rich Paul, this is why you should never be talking on a sports show or any show for that matter. You don't know what you're talking about. All right? Michael Jeffrey Jordan and the Chicago Bulls wasn't really considered a big three because they were old. All right? Those guys were old as far as basketball years in that era. That's considered old. Ever since they won those 3 championships, the team split up. Mike retired. Came back and played 2 more years. Scotty only played a few more years before he was out. Dennis was gone. It was over. Now look, here's the reality of the situation, because you don't seem to get it. Back in those days, when guys linked up, it was towards the end of their careers. They spent their whole careers trying to win a championship. So by staying loyal to the team and the organization says, well, thank you for your support for all these years trying to win us a championship. We'll now let you go because it's not fair to have you here while we're going through a rebuild. So you can go off to another team to try to win a championship. That's what happened with Drexler when he went to the Rockets and played with the last time he played with the guy, they were the champions. When he played with Akeem Olajuwon and they both got drafted. Phi Slamma Jamma down at the University of Houston. So Clyde went back to Houston and linked up with Olajuwon. And they won a championship. And Clive got a chance to get his ring. Then, after trying with the Phoenix Suns and the 76ers, at the end of his career, Charles go to Houston. He said, you already said dude was slow. Exactly. Just listen to him talk. Pat McAfee had to help him out. He couldn't even have a conversation about Adam Silver. Like when me and Adam Silver talk, it's like when we talk, and then we if he want to ask me something about some things, uh, we talks, and Pat McAfee had to help him out in this conversation. It's like, why is he here? What is he trying to? What is he selling? Because he's a hustler. So I'm trying to figure out what's the hustle. Why are you here? Then it's, yeah, we just launched a new clothing line we got with New Balance. It's called Klutch Athletics. Yeah, and we just launched that with New Balance. So yeah, it's a Klutch Athletics. I said, oh my gosh. And anybody want to sign their career away with a guy like that, you deserve what's going to happen to you. That's all I can say. Whatever's going to happen to you is going to happen to you based on those factors right there. Being associated with somebody like Rich Paul is going to be, well, I could just tell you it's going to be very educational. Just watch if anybody think I'm clowning this guy just to be clowning him, watch the Pat McAfee show. I don't think about him. I really don't. And the reason I don't think about him is because he always makes a way to find himself in a situation that's not ideal. You know what I'm saying? Like he puts him out there to push an agenda that LeBron or somebody wants him to do. So he's the perfect friend for LeBron because the elevator don't go all the way to the top. He just know whatever LeBron's saying, that's the gospel. So why not do it? You know what I'm saying? Well, people got to understand some things. There's going to be a lot of changes that need to materialize in this situation. You're going to need a lot of things to be reconfigured, reconstructed, and brought to a different perspective. You're going to need a lot of understanding and knowledge of the game. It's not just some big three. Come on, big three don't normally work. Well, what's a big three? Right? Because y'all call Kevin Durant a big three. Kevin Durant, Clay, Steph. So what is Rich Paul talking about? Right? Y'all was crying about that big three, but was okay with Brian doing what he did, even though Steph and Clay were drafted. Hell, y'all even put Draymond in the big three just to make it work. Draymond Green is a big three. So they really had a big four. It's not fair. How was Bron supposed to win? He's just one guy. What big three did Kobe have? You wouldn't let Kobe get a big three because then it'd have really been over. Because he's hell on wheels by himself. Well, everybody's upset about the clip because he talks about how Chris Bosh and what Chris Bosh looks like in the situation. Chris Bosh and what he's been working on and what he's been doing and they trying to minimize what he's done for the Miami Heat to lift up LeBron. Why do you need to minimize what Chris Bosh was and say, well, he's not a big three? Like, he wasn't really a big three. He was just an ultimate professional who did all of the hardest things on the team. Huh? Stop that man for talking about basketball or anything else. But you have people that's just as worse. I know. You have people such as Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas says some of the craziest takes in the history of basketball, to the point where you're surprised he even played. It's like, didn't you play basketball? Why would you say something a fan would say? You know, this guy literally sat on DJ Vlad's couch and actually started to say things about basketball that made no sense. I swear to you, he sat literally on the couch and you know what he said? Because I remember they asked him. They said, no. They asked him, what was it? Who's that guy? What's his name? Vlad. And Vlad told him, what did he ask Gil? He said something about Jordan 6 rings. No player, all these players are trying to catch Jordan in the 6 rings. You gotta catch Jordan in the 6 rings. Cause see, everybody's out there right now, right? They trying to go after Jordan in the 6 rings. I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, it's so stupid what he's actually saying. Does he think the NBA started in like 1984 or something? Like, when? Like, what does he think is going on here? I'm blown. My mind's blown. And that's what's wrong with these young people. But Gilbert isn't a young dude no more. He ain't a YN. He's an old head. So he should know better. But he has the brain of an immature child. So he's going to follow the road, that they give him. But to say and give bad takes like that is ridiculous. Why would people be saying they're chasing the MJ6 rings and the MJ6 as if Michael Jordan's 6 championships are the most in NBA history? It makes no sense. Bill Russell has what, 13, 11, or 13 championships? Come on. There are a lot of people that have more than 6. Okay? Robert Horry got 7. Or maybe 8, but I know he got 7. Now, The notion of this has always been different. You know, when you find things and you want to restore things back to its glory, you got to know what you're doing. And this is why the older players today can't stand today's game, because they know, because they've played the game. So if I'm saying something that's completely wrong, other people would tell me. They would say, hey, this ain't right, that ain't right. You know, let's get everything together. Let's do what needs to be done. You know? So when you start seeing scenarios that don't usually go side by side together, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No. Because they understand it more than you think. They've played this game, and now some of the fans of that year or that era see what they're doing in today's game. They're being quite disrespectful of the past. And the reason they're being quite disrespectful of the past is because today, because of social media, they just feel they can change the narrative to whatever they want it to be.
Voters' hands. LeBron's 50,000 relies on him. Steph Curry's shooting relies on him, right? So, wait.
That is the dumbest fucking statement. My God, is that dumb? LeBron James, 50,000 points relies on LeBron James. Steph Curry points rely on LeBron James. That's just dumb. And this is a former NBA basketball player who's just as bad as Rich Paul because he's there to sell an agenda. Look at him. He's lost. He's there to push an agenda. That's all he's there to do. So if you keep pushing an agenda, this is going to be the narrative. It keeps happening over and over again. And as we see it implode,
at some point would get done.
Well, you also said Michael Jordan 6 rings. But there's players with more rings, but they're kind of bench warmers along the way.
Yeah.
they were bench warmers. So Bill Russell, who was the face of the Boston Celtics, forget Bob Cousy, he wasn't winning 6 championships. It was Bill Russell leading those teams, okay, to win the 13 championships or whatever.
Into the finals and being undefeated, where there's guys, I think John Havlicek has a better resume than Michael Jordan when it comes to getting to the championship and winning and having a perfect record.
John Havlicek plays with Bill Russell. John Havlicek is not. This is what happens when your statistician, Gilbert Arenas, starts giving you information to use on a platform and you go out and open your mouth and speak. You've just compared Michael Jeffrey Jordan to John Havlicek. John Havlicek stole the ball. Havlicek stole the ball. That you've compared Michael Jordan to him. And then you wonder why I say the things about Gilbert Arenas that I say. He's a prime example of what's wrong with today's sports. Jordan ain't my man.
But remember, they don't count that shit, right? You know, once Jordan did it, that's all people are talked about losses. No one ever said Magic Johnson went to the championship 9 times and lost 4. No one ever put that negativity on people's brains. It was just, you won, that's all we cared about, right? So with Michael Jordan, you can have 6 rings, but where's you perfect now?
Well,
Gilbert Arenas is very slow. No one puts that into paragraphs or breakdowns because you guys tried to compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan. So you use that as an analogy. So people was like, well, Mike ain't never lost. So that's how they use it, as a saying this guy doesn't even barely win. He go there, he's like what, 3-9? All he does is lose when he gets there. So now you want to make it favorable for your guy, LeBron, by putting this narrative in that other people saying, well, you can't touch Michael Jordan because he never lost. He never lost in the finals. So now you gotta win, you gotta be perfect. Look, change the rules to whatever you want. It's not about rings. It's just facts. LeBron James is a glorified bum. That's it. He's a bum. Compared to the greatest players of all time, he wouldn't even be in the room with these guys. No. He's not on that level. No matter how much they try to rewrite history, no matter how much they try to glaze, you can give them longevity stats. You could change whatever thing you want. Nobody is ever going to put that glorified bum over Michael Jordan or anybody from that era. As long as I'm breathing, he's never getting that praise because he definitely doesn't deserve it. He's not worthy of it. Oh, Rich Paul is dumb as rocks. Rocks, matter of fact, that's an insult to rocks. This guy's sitting around all day lying. Nah, see, cause what the way the game is now, it's like better. How's it better, Rich? Well, now because of what Bron had to do, it's harder for Bron because see, Bron hurt. He injured, and we got like the hardest schedule of anybody in the NBA. I'm like, Jesus Christ. He's not even leading the team no more. Kobe was 40, he was leading the team. Mike was 40, he was leading the team. Guess who wasn't leading the team? LeBron James. It's not leading the team, y'all. So what do I say to the man that's not leading the team? Then what you doing, son? Well, as the world turns, you know. People and their belief, everything. everything that goes along with it, there's just nothing but nonsense. Now, I've been doing some thinking. I said, maybe I'm being a little harsh. Maybe this isn't the way it's supposed to go. Maybe there is a silver lining. I am not seeing the silver lining. What I'm seeing is something decadent and not as thoroughly laid out as proposed. Yeah, well, that's how it happens. Because in reality, what you're starting to see and what you're starting to realize is that the mainstream problems that everybody is facing is this actual organization, the whole lineup. The way it's all designed to be and the way they got it set up and scheduled to go, it's a lie. It's fool's gold. So now you're stuck in this conundrum. And for what? Yeah, there's some people that might be pissed. But for what, though? Rich Paul knew right away that when they got Chris Bosh or whatever, and they put him on the team or whatever, that wasn't a Rich Paul decision. He had nothing to do with the whole situation, what have you. Even Carmelo was like, I don't have any regrets because there's no guarantee we're going to win. And plus, it's not all what it's cranked up to be. And what if I join they big three and I go over there? What, I'm going to be the fourth option on the team? He's like, me being 24 years in my prime, what they did was the most hoish in basketball. To be 24 years of age in your prime, linking up to try to go win a championship instead of trying to win it on your own. That ruined LeBron's legacy right then and there. He could have won about 30 championships. It would never matter because of the way he did it. Doing it that way was the lamest thing ever, saying that I can't go win one on my own. Then he went back to Cleveland and reconstructed another team so that they can win. That's why none of his Miami championships meant anything. Right, his Miami run is failure. It's like they went to 4 finals. He played there 4 years and he went to 4 NBA finals. And it's failure. And the reason why it's failure, because you're most known in those 4 years for the 2011 loss, then your 2 championship wins. You're more known for that 2011 Dirk Nowitzki choke job than anything in your life. And you just sat down on a Pat McAfee show and had to go over there and say, yeah, I sucked. I the one lost that. I lost that championship. It was like, we know. Michael Jordan don't have to sit there and say he lost. And it was because of him. Kobe don't got to sit there and do that. You got to sit there and eat it. Because they take the weight right away. They take the blame for the losses. Are you kidding? That wasn't a prime Tim Duncan. He caught Tim in the late years. When he was coming in the league, and 20 and 8, what was that when they played? 28, 2008. So in 2008, when he's up there playing LeBron in the finals, and they all looking at each other and having that conversation, Duncan was already nearing the end. So when they played in 2014, Duncan already knew that, you know, this was how it was gonna go. When they said, okay, it's your team, Tony. When they made that change, that it was time to go in the direction of Tony Parker, and it was Tony's team now. That was always going to be the exception. That was always going to be the understanding as to what was going on. It wasn't going to be a general rule, but an understanding that this is how it's going to be going forward. No, people have to realize and understand that there's a thing called a meaning. When you have a meaning for something, or when you have a direction, an understanding as a cue as to where you're supposed to be and where you're going to end up in the direction, everybody should get back to playing team basketball. And then that's why the game would look better. It's too much one-on-one. There's too many individual guys dribbling. And that's from the lack of practice. Okay, there's a lack of practice in the NBA because the players wanted lack of actual practices with each other on the court. Everybody's doing shoot-arounds instead of practice. So, okay, now you're doing shoot-arounds instead of practice. What does that accomplish? Well, when you do shoot-arounds instead of practice and actually going through the reps of the game, what you're actually doing is ruining yourself. You're absolutely ruining yourself because now your game is more one-on-one than movement, cuts, back picks, splits from the weak side. You're not actually playing the game. So it's a whole difference when it comes to the approach. And now the whole league, which was complaining about load management, actually acquiesces in load management. That's right. It acquiesces in load management. So it's like, okay, well, if y'all gonna say this is what we're against, but now this is what we're all about, I don't understand that. Because what you do for one thing, you should be able to do for another. And another team should be able to decide what they want to do with their player. If they say my player isn't playing back-to-backs, that should be a team decision, not the league. And if the team is okay with it, and because they have medical reasons why, then it should reflect that. But what shouldn't happen in a million years is someone feeling a certain way about it. There are so many people that have all of this expert information. They got this detail, they got that detail, they got everything to perfection. They know what everybody needs to hear, but and they know the right thing to fix this thing and get it on the right track, but they never seem to do it. Every year there's the talk of how do we fix the NBA? How do we fix the NBA Finals? So let's just glaze everything that's terrible or mediocre. Since when it's been okay to boast for mediocrity? What an amazing play! And then they get mad that people are not cheering for it. It's like, we saw greatness. Why are we cheering for this? See, you're not selling the game right. It's like, selling the game. You have to give me something to sell. I'm supposed to cheer for a guy throwing an alley-oop pass for a 40-year-old man who barely got up to the rim and dunked it in. I'm going to take that and replay that more than I'm replaying Ja Morant going down the lane dunking on somebody. No, you're hurting your game. You're hurting your game by promoting that trash as real basketball. You're hurting yourself. And I feel bad. I really do, because there are actually some good people out there who love this game and grew up playing this game to the fullest. Like, they've seen where this game could go and they love it. They love the idea of how incredible this sport is and how much fun it was to run this game, do back cuts, the whole nine. They loved it. But now, the way the game is today, they don't love it like they used to. And I'm like, I was saying it to myself, like, why are they going to keep replaying this one play over and over again? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, why are we replaying this over and over and over? It's like, I'm like, I was about to pull my hair out. As many times as they replayed that as if it was the greatest thing you have ever seen. So now I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, that doesn't make any sense. These plays that happened were way better than that. Why are we doing this? To advertise the game? Don't they realize this is bad basketball? I remember Michael Jordan did a move at 40 years old LeBron could not do in his entire life. He did a double reverse, one hand. I'm like, what in the world is this person doing behind me? So the whole time I'm sitting there, right, and everybody's going crazy. Like they're going they're pumping up their fists, they doing like all these different things, they going crazy for the game. Because it's always about the game, right? So we're sitting there and all these people are going crazy. They're pumping their fists. They going nuts about the game. And then all of a sudden, they see LeBron just walk on the court. But Michael Jordan did a reverse that nobody had seen. And you think SportsCenter showed that reverse? Nope. Not at all. They didn't show that reverse by Michael Jordan at all. This was Michael Jordan's first year back with the Wizards. He did a reverse off the glass. They didn't even show it on SportsCenter. They were highlighting Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. They were the highlight reel. Shaq and Kobe. They showed AI do a move, Allen Iverson. Then they showed Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant won the scoring title against Allen Iverson. Kobe averaged 35 points a game. Allen Iverson averaged 33 points a game and was second. They were never the same. You know, like the majority of the people in the game, they're not the same. They don't get up the same. They don't do anything the same. So now today it's like, let's market LeBron no matter how terrible he is. So we just got to keep promoting it, even though we know he's a bad basketball player. His athleticism is gone. He has no skill. He has no footwork. So we just got to let him get away with everything. You know, it's abysmal. And now, because of that, the game is hurt. Hit the like button. They're altering everything that I'm saying on a video. But the truth of the matter is, this is what you chose. So if you're going to continuously go down this route, then, you know, I participate. Whatever. I don't get caught up in those emotions or feelings. I only care about the game, the purity of the game. Chris Bosh was a better basketball player than LeBron James. Dwayne Wade is a better basketball player than LeBron James. Period. So there is no big three. If there was a three, LeBron was three. He's weak. Mentally weak. Physically weak man. Oh man, beef stew? Man, you crazy? Yeah, if beef stew would he have been able to play back in those days? Um, Pretty much his gameplay, his range, like Isaiah Stewart can actually play basketball. You know, y'all are caught up in this notion that he cannot. That's not him. This man can literally play basketball. There's certain instances that you see people, they say or they want to say, they pretend to say or whatever. But it's up to you as a person. You know, what are you willing to endure? I'll tell you right now, who do you think is the best basketball player in the game? Hands down, right now, who's the best basketball player in the game right now? Actively playing. Right now, today, who's the best player? If you could definitively say one guy is the best player in the game right now, who would it be? Now, from what I'm seeing, the majority of you are saying the Joker, Jokic, right? Now, what would the Jokic Joker would have been able to do in the 90s? So think about it. A slow-moving white guy who can shoot threes and everything, right? From overseas is the best player in the NBA. And you want to tell me today's players could contend with the players of the past? And you're telling me about how great LeBron James is, and you're telling me the Joker is the best player in basketball right now. That's what's wrong with the game. You see, back in those days, everybody was a Joker. Everybody had footwork. Everybody had moves. You had to have a left hand. You had to have a right hand. You couldn't just walk out there and do what you want to do. The lanes was tight. Man, if you was a center and you was shooting from the nail, putting up shots, man, the coach would call a timeout and chew your ass out and say, man, what you doing over there? Get your ass in the paint. The closer you are to the rim, the higher the percentage of the chances of you making the shot. So that was the name of the game. The mid-range game is gone. They consider that a bad shot if you shoot a mid-range jump shot. kid, this industry is cutthroat. I mean, who got game like Kevin Durant? They be like, Kevin Durant's washed up. Please. They mess with Kevin Durant because they're mad at him not doing what they want him to do. Kevin Durant is doing the things that he wants to do. So they saying, okay, well, you just gonna have a good career, score a lot of points, and that shall be that. That'll be the career of Kevin Durant. You got your 2 rings. You can go get high now. Carmelo Anthony had been essentially one of the greatest players in the game for years. And the NBA decided to punish him for going against the grain. Kevin Durant punished by choosing his own path. Because you're going against the agenda of what the league wants. The league didn't want Kevin Durant to leave the East after going to the East. They want more superstars in the East. So when he decided to leave Golden State and go to the Brooklyn Nets, that was perfect for them. Kyrie Irving's over there. That's great. Get some stars back in the East. Then he goes and says, all right, I'm going to go over to the West. I'm going to go out to Phoenix. They didn't like that move. Because now you're building a big 3 in Phoenix. Now you're going against what we got. What we're trying to develop here. We got Luka here. We have too many teams in the West with personalities that we got to deal with. So now it's like the East is a dumping site, even though they got better players and they play better as a team. It's like a dump site now. I mean, man, I swear, Iceman Gervin would serve these dudes. They don't. That's why most of the older guys, they don't interview them. Their whole thing is they don't hate the young players. They hate that the young players come with so much disrespect to their eras. And it's like, you disrespect the game. He's like, that was before me. Like, y'all disrespecting the old Celtics and back. We never done that. He's like, man, we never did that. We never said, oh, those guys back in the Bob Cousy days, they couldn't play with us. They never did that in the 90s. They didn't have to. Why does this generation of these young players feel they got to tear down the old NBA in order for their NBA to thrive? Because that's the problem. That's where the disconnect is. They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. Because all they do is effing win. They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. Because all they do is effing win. They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. They gonna crash out and get ejected and be suspended for other games. They the crash out team of 2024. And everybody love it. If the Pistons wasn't crashing out, getting ejected, and doing all this, the NBA wouldn't even be paying no attention to them. Y'all only know of the Pistons for all the stuff. It's always the fighting, but y'all don't see none of the basketball that take place. So now y'all gonna watch and y'all gonna see the game take place and say, damn, these dudes is hooping y'all out. It's like, yeah. You see the Pistons won again. Yeah, see the Pistons won again. I said the Pistons won again. LeBron need a shrink. No, the shrink would jump out of a window having to deal with LeBron. LeBron, the shrink would be like, you're not here to get help. You here to talk to somebody. You just want to talk. Yep, nothing. Yeah, you good. Because that's really, I really don't need no help. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I just said, let me come on in here and have a good conversation. Because maybe a shrink can give me some good conversation. LeBron ain't gonna want no shrink for help. No, I don't think they would even have a say in said scenario. Because it wouldn't make any sense. The way I see it, it wouldn't make any sense. Well, people go to like different lengths to make things happen. They go to different extremes. They go to different, what you would call layouts or concerns, things of that nature. People tend to have this hands-on, hands-off approach when it comes to dealing with these said scenarios. I never looked at it that way. I always looked at it okay, there we go. It's not my fault I'm good at parking. I don't need parking assistance. They say the Pistons won again. Oh yeah, I already put my prop bets in. I'm gonna put another 1,000 down. We moving, baby. We making moves. So there's a lot of different things you can get yourself into. Hey, I want my mushroom soup.
Mushroom soup?
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna take the lobster biscuit too.
Lobster bisque?
Mm-hmm.
Try 'em. What else can I get for you?
That should do it.
Yeah. It's gonna be $19.58, please. Copy of the receipt.
No, I'm good.
You're all set.
All right.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh no, this is my favorite place.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good. I haven't seen you here.
Yeah, you weren't here last time when I come in.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Like, if it's your favorite place, you should be here often.
Yeah, I am. But I always see the other girl.
Have a good one.
All right. Woo! They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. I said the Pistons won again. All they do is have to win. They say the Pistons won again. They say the Pistons won again. Uh-oh. going? Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. I was in the area, so I said, well, let me stop
as
by.
well?
Yeah. See if y'all had
No
any.
problem. Let me let her know that you're here.
Okay.
Have a seat, and I'll add you to the schedule, okay? Did
Okay.
you care for anything to drink?
No, I'm okay.
No problem.
So, I'll talk to y'all later. Got me an appointment to get a good massage. Getting ready for these games.